Good morning, and thank you for joining us this morning. Joining me today is our Surrey First Council candidates, including Councillor Mike Bowes, Deb Antefay, Bilal Chima, Janet Brown, Jasroop Gossel, Gagan Naddle, and Clint Stewart. To say that Surrey is feeling under siege these days would be an understatement. I've been a councillor now for just over 7 years, and I can honestly say I have never seen our city quite like this before. These extortions and the related shootings have our city and our residents on edge, and that's no way to live. They're nervous, they're afraid, and they're frustrated. And frankly, these crimes look and feel very different. In many ways, worse than the drug-related gang wars that we've seen across the Lower Mainland. The fact is, public safety, or lack of it, determines how we live our lives, how we run our businesses, and how we define our communities. That's why Surrey City Council unanimously voted this week to call for a state of emergency here in Surrey. No city anywhere in Canada is equipped to handle something like this because it has a local, provincial, and national consequences, and it roots outside of our country. So the state of emergency was definitely the right thing to do. But declaring a state of emergency requires immediate action. Otherwise, it is nothing more than a fleeting headline and words on paper. Public safety has to be job one for our city, but it also has to be job one for our province and Ottawa as well. Without federal and provincial support and coordination of resources, this is more than one city or country can do on its own. If we do not have a safe city, absolutely nothing else matters. So this morning, I want to share some short and long-term action items that we believe should be implemented immediately, things that can state a state of emergency into action rather than mere words. First, I believe that Chief Norm Lipinski's visible presence approach is key and should underline our approach moving forward. Criminals need to see the police, and our citizens need to know that their city, their province, and their country have pulled out all stops. Surrey residents need to see in plain sight that our Surrey Police Service and the RCMP officers have been given the tools and the technology and the resources to establish a visible presence that intimidates criminals and assures our citizens and families feel safe. With that in mind, it's time to allow police to lay charges, something that is happening in almost every province in Canada. Giving police the authority to lay charges will mean more arrests. But to be effective, we need a dedicated group of Crown Counsel to get cases to court, the same way that the Vancouver Police Department and Crown Counsel worked together after the Stanley Cup riot. Next, we need to provide our police with 24/7 real-time access to our city's 600-plus traffic cameras, and we need to add 600 more police-specific cameras. Our police have a version of access today, but it's not in real time, and any delay in access, even minutes, means criminals are long gone. And while some may argue about privacy concerns, I think that only protects criminals. We also need roadside checks that blanket high-risk areas, particularly overnight, and something that is possible with more officers, which mean I know that the Surrey Police Service is working on. At the same time, we need the Surrey Police Service to have immediate helicopter access, and the federal government's support yesterday is a good start. Longer term, I think the Surrey Police Service can make a good case for getting their own helicopter. Our city is the size of Vancouver, Richmond, and Burnaby combined, and having a dedicated helicopter with a speed and range would give the Surrey Police Service another important tool, particularly as our city grows. In addition, we need the federal government to provide deeper screening of foreign students, temporary workers, and anyone else that's applying for an extended visa. And any non-Canadians involved in these extortion cases or shootings or gang activity need to be charged and deported immediately. And they should not have the opportunity to hide behind the law by seeking asylum and that lengthy process that it entails. The fact is, coming to Canada is a privilege, not a right. And frankly, too often people mistake our politeness and our kindness for weakness and abuse our laws with little fear of real consequences. That has to change, and it has to change immediately. Longer term, I've called for 300 more police officers over the next 4 years. We have about 800 officers here in Surrey, while Vancouver has more than 1,400, even though our population is similar and our city is as big as Vancouver, Burnaby, and Richmond combined. We need more officers to meet our needs and our growth. And to help do that, I've already called for a police training center right here in Surrey to speed up recruitment and training. And every one of our Surrey MPs and MLAs need to know that our city needs and wants, and they must be prepared to do their part to speak up in Ottawa and in Victoria, because we cannot win this fight alone. That means if we're going to have a national commissioner responsible for taking on this fight and coordinating the fight across our country, that person needs to have real authority and resources to get it done. Anything less is just an expensive paper shuffler, and that's not what we need at this critical moment when every minute counts. Without a serious and expedited call to action, putting a state of emergency in place means nothing. It will just frustrate and anger even more Surrey residents, particularly those targeted on extortions, shooters, and gangs. It also demands a call of action for all of us who live in Surrey. Our Surrey Police Service and the RCMP officers are incredible men and women, but they cannot be everywhere. So that means all of us, nearly 700,000 of us, need to be their extra eyes and ears. Quite simply, if each of us isn't in the fight, it's hard to win. We cannot stand by and watch our city and our people be victimized, intimidated, and feeling helpless. That's why Council needs to have Ottawa, Victoria on speed dial. They have a big role to play, and because keeping the pressure on will deliver results. Thank you again for coming this morning, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
If you have a question, can I ask you to come up to the mic? I'm coming.
Hi, thank you. My name is Anaïs El-Boujdani. I'm with Radio-Canada CBC. I was wondering what you're presenting, how does it contrast, in your opinion, with what Surrey is already doing? And you're on the City Council already.
There's several things that we are putting forward. First and foremost, we want all of the cameras, the traffic cameras right now, given immediate real-time access to our police service. We also want an additional 600 cameras installed for police use only in the city of Surrey. We need more officers immediately. We would like a police training facility established immediately here in Surrey to train all municipal police officers. So there's many things that we need to do, and I've just listed a few of them. Of course, we need to get Crown Council also working with the embedded into the policing unit, much like they did during the Stanley Cup riots. And we also need to give the police the opportunity to be able to put charges forward without having to go to Crown to get approval. It takes time, and time is of essence here. We need to get on this right away.
Yesterday, Premier Eby talked with Prime Minister Carney. He said help is coming. Do you feel it's enough, what was announced yesterday?
What was announced yesterday, that is the addition of another 20 police officers here in Surrey, and also the use of a helicopter is a great start, but we need more police officers in that. We need to be very visible on the street. We need to be able to be seen. We need to have enough police officers so that we can do roadside checks in high-risk neighborhoods. And quite frankly, I'm pleased to hear, but we need more help.
Hi, Cecilia with City News. Mayor Brenda Locke has repeatedly asked for 150 more specialized officers here in Surrey. You guys are asking for 300. I know we are just getting the 20 RCMP officers, but how are you confident that your council could get the 300 over the next 4 years?
So there's two issues that are here. We're asking for more officers immediately, and I think the number that Brenda Locke has suggested for temporary measures is a good number, but we need to be building our team here, and we need to be building it at the rate of about 75 officers each and every year to bring us up to 300 officers after 5 years.
Rate the performance of the BC Extortion Task Force so far, and some of the concerns within the South Asian community here in Surrey, thinking the perception that RCMP is not taking this as seriously because it is predominantly targeting South Asian businesses.
This is a very, very serious issue, and I don't think there's a man or woman within the RCMP service or within the Surrey Police Service or living in Surrey that doesn't believe that this is a very, very serious issue and that we are in crisis in Surrey.
Hi, Linda. I'm just wondering if you could talk to us a little bit more about your proposal to have police lay charges. How exactly would you get the ball rolling on that? Would it be limited to just extortion cases, or could they lay charges in other cases as well?
We hear oftentimes that it's very difficult to get gang members and other very serious criminals off the street quickly. And this is something that I think the province needs to address immediately. It's been historical. There are about 3 other provinces in Canada that have the same issue. And the sooner we can get this fixed, the quicker we can get more charges laid.
And just a follow-up about, would it be just regulated to extortion, or could police lay charges in other cases?
The police should be able to lay charges on all criminal activity, not have to go to the Crown to get approval. And I would say in the meanwhile, while we're going through this, we need to have Crown assigned to the unit so that we can get them approved quickly in the meanwhile. But we need to get on this right away so that police can begin laying charges immediately.
Hi, Linda. So I'm at Sanja TV, and January was not an easy month. But if we just talk about Surrey, realistically, do we buy something owned without waiting for the provincial help or the federal help? Can we do something by own? Because there's a lot of help given by provincial and federal, but it's something that we can just step into something and do by own if we just talk about the city of Surrey.
Well, there's a couple of things that we can do immediately. First and foremost is give immediate access in real time to our traffic cameras and get someone from Surrey Police Service in our traffic management system so that they can see things. So when a call comes in, they can react and look and see where a vehicle is going or a person is going and track them. We also have the offer of the helicopter, which I think is a great one, and we need to be utilizing that. The roadside checks need to be increased, and as soon as we have enough officers, and I hope when we get those 20, we can get those increased even more, particularly during the wee small hours of the morning when we know a lot of the extortion shootings are taking place.
Thank you so much for it.
Thank you.